Hey, this is Dr. Willie Jolly, and I want to welcome you to a special edition of the Jolly Good News Report. I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it. Didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. And I'm going to make the most of this minute, this moment, this time I have to share with you some ideas. Now, I did not give the whole minute because you're going to hear it in a moment. You're going to hear the whole minute poem that I start all my programs with, that my book, It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life, came from. And you're going to hear more about my story and some of the things that inspire and encourage me as we go through these challenging, difficult, and unbelievable times. I was recently on an interview with a young man named Tim Shore, who's a speaker. He's doing a big event on the 24th of October. He invited me to be on it. It's called the Legends event of the speaking industry. Dennis Waitley, Les Brown. I mean, all of these legends, and I'm honored to be one of the ones on it. He asked me if I would do an interview on his podcast and on his video cast, and I did. And it turned out to be one of the most profound and exciting and uplifting interviews I think I've done in years. And so I decided I want to share it with you during this moment and in this minute and this time we have here on the Jolly Good News Report. So I'm going to do this week half of the interview and next week the other half. So here we go. Get ready for a message that will inspire you, empower you, encourage you. I ask you to do a couple things. Start a watch party right now. Do it right now. This is one you're going to say, I wish I had. 2, share it with everybody you know. Send it out to your friends and your family members, and then like it. And then subscribe to be part of this so that you'll be notified every time I'm up and on, whether it's on Jolly Good News Report or on any of my social media. Let's get going with this week's special edition of the Jolly Good News Report, my interview where I am interviewed by Tim Shore on how to live your best life and do it with an attitude of excellence. Here we go. And turn your setbacks into comebacks.
We've got a legend in the house. Dr. Willie Jolly is with us. Dr. Jolly, welcome to the program.
Tim, it's a privilege and a pleasure, a treat and a treasure, a joy beyond measure for me to be in your presence and to be with all of your mesmerizing, incredible folks, and I'm grateful. Those who know me know I start my XM show, my speeches, everything I do with a single minute. I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, I can't refuse it. I didn't seek it. I didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. So I'm grateful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity to be on with you, and have a great day today.
Oh my gosh. So ladies and gentlemen, this is why Dr. Jolly is one of the top 5 most successful speakers in the world. This guy, I mean, that was the best introduction that I think I've ever heard. That was
well, thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
I'm just honored. I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Wow, man. Well, I'm grateful that you took time out of your busy schedule to be with me today. So let's jump right in because I have so many questions for you.
Sure.
Wow. All right. So what would you say is the secret to your personal success?
Wow, that's a great question, Tim. I think the secret to my success is twofold. It's a dual, I guess, a dual two-pronged positioning. One, I'm successful, and the secret is faith. My faith is a major part of my success because I have an expectation that good is going to come from my efforts. I got a great faith in God. I got a great faith in what the possibilities and so faith is a part of it. And the other part of it is a commitment to excellence. I made a commitment years ago to excellence when I had been comfortable with mediocrity, but I realized that mediocrity wasn't getting me anywhere. So I made a commitment to excellence. And I said, I'm going to outwork, out hustle, out struggle, out everything, everybody, and I just see where it ends up and where it takes me, and it has served me well. So my faith mixed with my excellence, and I think there's a way to say that I love a lot. It says you must pray like it all depends on God, and then work like it all depends on you. You must give all you've got on a daily basis, and you do your part, God going to do his part. And I found that to be a truth. So I'm very grateful. I'm very honored that I've had some success. And yet, Tim, I think sometimes I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started. I know for something, though. Here's what I know, Tim. Here's what I know.
Yes.
That the best is yet to come. That's what I know. And I know that for not just for me, though, for everybody who is listening, watching, any part of this, that their best is yet to come. If they stay faithful and they stay focused on excellence. There's a little piece in my book, It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life. Follow your dream.
Yeah.
Wherever it leads. Don't be distracted by less worthy needs. Shelter it, nourish it, help it to grow. Hold your dream deep, down deep where dreams grow. Follow your dream, pursue it with haste. Life is too precious, too fleeting to waste. Be faithful, be loyal, and all the day through, with a spirit of excellence, your dreams will keep coming true.
Can I have an amen? I got tingles. I got tingles. Oh my gosh. And for those who are just listening to this, he has this all memorized. It's all in his mind. It's coming out of his heart. You know, he's not reading from anything. I mean, wow, Dr. Jolly, that's amazing. I mean, really.
Well, that's, you know, to be honest with you, Tim, thank you for saying that. But, and let me even discourse on that. Mm-hmm. In my book, A Setback, Set Up for a Comeback, I say there are 4 levels of thinking. That's the impossible, the unconsciously incompetent, mm-hmm. the consciously incompetent, mm-hmm. the conscious competence, and the unconscious competence. Now, unconsciously incompetent. I don't know that I don't know what I don't know. Okay, there's so much stuff I don't know. I'm unconsciously incompetent on so much of that stuff and so much stuff in life. So when I was in graduate school, one of my professors said, you got a lot. He said, you're going to have a lot of ignorance you got to get rid of. I said, that's exactly right. So I'm unconsciously, but then there's conscious incompetent. I know I don't know how to fly a plane. So if somebody gave me a Learjet and say, it's yours, go fly it, I say, I don't know what to do. If you don't teach me, so I know I'm consciously incompetent. But then there's conscious competence. First time you drive a car, you got to be consciously competent. Okay, now see, what did the teacher tell me to do? Put both hands on the steering wheel, put it in gear, make sure the doors are locked, have my seatbelt on, turn the key, put my foot on the brake. Okay, and you go through that retinue of things you're supposed to remember because that's what you just learned. But you get to a point where you're unconsciously competent, that you're driving a car, drinking coffee, talking on the phone, eating a sandwich, and all of that at the same time that we all get to. Well, in terms of my speaking, you mentioned I don't have notes. No, I don't have any notes. But this is from 30 years of me creating this reservoir. And thank God my mind still works relatively well. And it can draw up a point of interest, a point of consciousness that I think would be of help to somebody. And what motivates my consciousness is when you brought that up, how maybe there's somebody who wants to be a speaker, somebody who has an interest in being a messenger of hope and possibility, but they need to know how do you do it. And one of the things, I have a boot camp every year, and then we started a whole new program online, youcanspeaknow.com, to give people some entry level, just to get them started. And one of the things I tell them in those programs is that you'll go through different levels of thinking and learning and expertise, so that at one point you'll be saying, now, what is my speech about? Did I have to read it? Or maybe I can go to an outline, to a point where I've been on a stage. I tell this story often. I had been speaking somewhere, I don't know, and I flew into National Airport in Washington, D.C. My wife picked me up and said, we've got to go right to my nephew's Eagle Scout commissioning or event or a ceremony. Mm-hmm. And it was a big deal. And the church was packed out where this was happening. And so we got there in time for the beginning, but I forgot my camera. I left my camera in my bag. So as they were, 5 or 7 minutes into it, before the activities, they were still having the entry-level speakers, and the guy who moderating was standing up, and I said, I'm going to go get my camera. So I stood up to go get my camera to walk out, and the guy said, look, Willie Jolly's here. Oh my goodness, Willie Jolly's here. Willie Jolly, come up and say some words to everybody as we celebrate this Eagle Scout moment. Come up. Now, I got about 20 steps from there to the first step going up to the rostrum. And so I said, what am I going to say? I got 20 steps to pull this together. And that's when I start pulling these things from all of these years in my mind. And so I get to the stand, I stand up, I get in, and I say, I'm here today to celebrate my nephew, Brian, and the great accomplishment that he has had for us today of becoming an Eagle Scout. And he is a model of excellence for all of us. But you must understand how he had to make some decisions. And over the years, I've shared with people how powerful it is that you must decide whether you're going to be an eagle or not. See, and there's a story about an eagle that had his egg up on the top of the highest mountain peak. A strong wind came and blew that eagle egg off the mountainside, and it rolled down into a valley, and it rolled into a chicken farm. The mother hen saw the new little egg and said, I'm going to sit on it. It must be a different kind of egg. It's different. It looks weird. But she sat on it, and it finally hatched. Out came this big beak and these big wings and these big claws. And she said, what a funny looking chicken. And even though that bird was born with eagle genes and eagle chromosomes, it was born in chicken surroundings. It thought like a chicken, walked like a chicken, talked like a chicken. It dreamed like a chicken. His biggest chicken dream was to get up on top of the fence and crow like a rooster. Said, if I can do that, maybe they won't laugh at me no more because I look different. But one day it talked itself out of it. It said, but I can't get up on top of the fence. I'm a chicken. Chickens don't fly. Oh, well. And one day while I checked in the chicken yard, pecking for corn like the other little chickens, looked up in the sky and saw the most amazing sight he had ever seen in his life. Saw the sight of an eagle flying majestically across the sky, like the king of the sky. Said, wow, what are you? What are you? And the eagle, with his powerful hearing and powerful eyesight, saw the little bird and flew straight down and said, what am I? What are you? And the little bird said, I'm a chicken. And the eagle said, look at my face. You look just like me. Look at my wings. You look like me. Look at my claws. You look like me. He said, you're not a chicken. You're an eagle. You were not born to be pecking for corn. You're an eagle. Flap your wings and fly like the eagle you were born to be. And a little bird flapped his wings and soared above the clouds. That moment that my nephew decided that he was not going to be a normal kid, but pursue excellence as an eagle, was a minute that his destiny was changed. Thank you very much. And I walked off, got a standing ovation. And so now I did it. But that was the impact of unconscious competence.
Wow. I've heard that story 1,000 times. And listening to you tell it, I feel like I just heard it for the first time.
Wow,
it was so good. Yeah, it's what you say and then how you say it. And if somebody wants to understand what mesmerizing means, they just need to watch you in action, because you really know how to bring a story to life and evoke emotion, which is just awesome.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you very much.
Very good. Yeah. So that's really amazing. I'm sure. Wow. Well, you really delivered. I find that you know, I could go give a keynote just about anywhere, but if I had to give one in my hometown, that's all of a sudden when I felt like I was 12 years old again, and da 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 da.
Right.
It's like, we know you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
wow. So, you know, I love what you said about faith.
Yes.
And, you know, I can't tell you how many times I've said, God, please take over this business because I know you're going to run it much better than me. You know, I
Yes.
say a prayer every time I get on a stage or anywhere else. And so I love that. And then the idea that you decided that you were going to be excellent, that you were going to strive for excellence, that you weren't going to settle, you weren't going to be complacent. And so many people struggle with that. In fact, especially these days where there's so much uncertainty, if people are struggling to find their focus, their motivation before, they're really hurting now. And
Right.
you are the go-to guy when it comes to handling a crisis. Or, you know, I quote your book all the time, Setback is a Setup for a Comeback. It's one of my favorite quotes. In fact, I think it's actually in the new book that I just wrote. I quoted you in it.
Bless your
And
heart. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
yeah. And so I just love it. So how did you figure that out? How did you figure out how to help others? It's hard enough trying to figure out for ourselves, but how did you figure out how to help other people go from a setback to a comeback?
You know, I've been always intrigued with how I come up with my books. And really, each one was a result of some life experience. I believe that it's hard to teach what you don't know, and it's hard to lead where you're not willing to go or haven't gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so my book, A Setback Setup for a Comeback, is a result of me being a nightclub singer
Mm-hmm.
who won awards for Best Jazz Singer, Best Entertainer, Best Male Vocalist, Best Inspirational Vocalist. I won all these awards as a singer.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was in a nightclub where I had built into the #1 night spot in DC, people would line up 7 o'clock for the 8 o'clock show, 9 o'clock for the 10 o'clock show. Things were going great. I bought a house, had a sports car, and went in one night and they said, we made a change. We love you. People love you, but we got to get a better return on investment. And the only way to do that with a full nightclub is to lower the cost, and the band's the biggest cost. So we bought a karaoke machine. What about my bills? And I learned that night, nobody cares about you, but your bills, but you and the people you owe. And, and I was stunned.
Yeah.
But it was out of that setback that someone blessed me with a cassette tape, a motivational cassette tape. I never heard of motivational tape before then, Tim.
Yeah.
And it was a guy named Charlie Tremendous Jones.
Oh, yeah.
And Charlie Jones said, in 5 years, you'll be the same person you are today, except for two things: the people you meet who inspire you and the books you read that empower you. And I started reading books, read Think and Grow Rich, read The Power of Positive Thinking, read The Richest Man in Babylon, read The Magic of Thinking Big, and I just started reading one self-help book after another, listening to self-help tapes and going to seminars. And it changed my thinking. I took a job with the school system, and it was as a drug prevention coordinator. And part of my job, I had to give little speeches to kids, and I found what I was born to do. Speak to people, inspire them, use my musical gifts as an asset to add to it. From the kids, the teachers would say, can you come to my teachers group? Someone there would say, can you come to my church? Someone in the church would say, can you come to my company? Someone in the company would say, can you come to this or that? Then Les Brown, our dear friend, heard about me and invited me to be on tour with him and Gladys Knight, the Music and Motivation Dream Team tour, because they were looking for someone who was a speaker who could also sing music and motivation as the opening act. And I got the spot. And that they introduced me to radio people. I got a little radio show. From there, Sirius XM became part of my life. And now I got the #1 self-help show in the country on Sirius XM. From there, book publishers started calling and saying, I heard you on the radio. I want to talk about a book. And I wrote a book. It only takes a minute to change your life. Setback set up for a comeback. Turn setbacks into greenbacks. Attitude of excellence. Make love, make money, make it last with me and my wife, Dee. Marriage book. And then in 1999, I was named one of the top 5 speakers in the world by Toastmasters. 2005, inducted in the Speaker Hall of Fame. 2013, named a legend of the speaking industry. And all of that happened, Tim, because I got fired and had a setback. So that book was the first 4 or 5 pages is about my story in that book. But then I quickly deviate from my story to other stories of people, some of them famous, some not, who turn their setbacks into comebacks. And the lessons I learned from all of these people that helped them turn that setback into comeback. When then this book comes out, it becomes a national bestseller, then a global bestseller. And now it's got a resurgence. People are buying it like crazy now because this is a setback time. But as a result of that book, Ford Motor Company had an exec who read the book. And when Ford was on the brink of bankruptcy, they said, we need a comeback. And when they said, we need a comeback, this guy said, we need a comeback. There's a guy, I read his book, we should be using him. And I got the call from Ford, worked with Ford in 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009. Ford's able to reject a government bailout. The Detroit Free Press writes a big article about Ford's amazing comeback. And from that day, my life changed. General Motors called, then Walmart called, then Johnson & Johnson Dubai, then Coca-Cola South Africa, then First Bank of Nigeria, then one after another, all over the globe. So I was saying, if you can help Ford, you can help us. So it has been amazing, the whole process. And so to go back to your question, the book came out of my experience from Ford. This book, Setbacks Turn Setbacks into Greenbacks, came out of my experience when I was struggling financially and learned from some mentors how to become more mindful of money and how to turn those setbacks into greenbacks. An attitude of excellence came out of the work with Ford. And so Alan Mullally from Ford wrote the foreword. And then It Only Takes a Minute, Change Your Life came out of my being able to do those jingle singer when I was a singer who became comfortable selling a product, soap powder, whatever it was, Coca-Cola, whatever, in a minute. Singing it in a minute, and I said, why don't I write a book of 1-minute messages? And of course, the marriage book, how my wife and I are together 35 years, haven't had an argument in 33 years. And those first couple of years were like World War III, where we learned some principles from some wise mentors. There are 2 ways, write this down, folks, 2 ways to get to any goal, mentors and mistakes. Both will get you there. One just gets you there with less headaches and heartaches. Well, I learned from mentors, and my wife and I learned from mentors, stopped arguing, got to loving, been married for 35 years, and we put those principles in a book, and now people are calling from all over and saying, hey, I read your book. My marriage we were on our way to divorce court, and now we're doing great. So the answer to your question, all of these books, all of these messages are born out of my experiences. My message, I like to say it like this. My message is a result of my mess. The mess I've had in my life, the challenges I've had, the struggles I've had, the setbacks. Tim, many years ago, I was new in this whole self-development thing. And I said I started reading books and going to seminars. I went to this seminar, and the first guy got up. He talked about how great his life was, how great his family was, how great his kids were, how much money he made, how his life was perfect. And if you want a perfect life like I got a perfect life, I can tell you how to do it. And of course, I'm taking notes because I want a perfect life like he got a perfect life. And I'm writing notes. The next guy comes up on this rally and talks about his struggles. He talked about how they had turned off his electricity and how his little kid, his 3 little daughters said, Daddy, why are the lights out? He said, oh, play hide and go seek. I got to make a quick run. He went down to the electric company and found someone who looked sympathetic and said, look, my lights just went off. I got 3 little girls at home. I got a check coming out. I'm working on a big project. And the money should have been here by now, but it's not. I just need a few days. And a lady looked him in the eye and said, okay. And she said, your lights are on. You got a week. He went back home, and within a few days, the money had come in. Mm-hmm. Now, to this day, I remember that guy. His name is Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. He wrote the book, The Millionaire Choice. He wrote the book, What Makes the Great Great. Mm-hmm. The first guy, I don't remember who he is because I couldn't relate to him.
Yeah.
But I could relate to lights turned off. I could relate to struggles. I could relate because that was my story. And so all of these books talk about the struggles. I wish I could tell you that I had it all together, folks. I wish I could tell y'all that I'm erudite and scholarly and everything falls into place. I wish I could tell you that every word that I say is perfectly put together, that the verb and the noun all work together. I'm working on that. I'm working on becoming a good speaker. One day, really, one day I'm going to be good. I'm going to really be good if I keep working. But here's the lesson. Here's the message. Back in the Greek Senate, there were two speakers, Diothenes and Pericles. Now, Pericles was a great orator. He would get up and people would hear his words. They were always perfect. Every word was perfectly pronounced and articulated, and everything was perfect. And when he finished, people would stand at their feet and go, bravo, 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 bravo. Well, Diothenes, though, he was like me, a country boy, trying to put this stuff together, trying to get it together, sometimes trip over my words. But when he finished speaking, no one would jump to their feet and say, bravo. They'd jump to their feet and say, let's go to war. And that's what I want people to do. I want people to go to war on the things that have stopped them, their fears, the things that have kept them from being all they can be. I want them to go to war on the limitations that they've set for themselves or someone else. I want you to go to war. So I wish I had it all together. I'm working on it. One day I'll be good. But in the meantime, I want you to go to war and live what you were born to live. Do what you were born to do. Be what you were born to be. That's what I want.
Wow. I can't remember what any of my other questions are. I'm ready to go to war. I just can't remember anything else. Wow. Oh my gosh. That was, wow. That is, I'm like taken aback. That was really mesmerizing. Wow. So good.
Wow. Wow. I hope you enjoyed that interview. I hope you enjoyed. Now, there's another half. And next week, I'm going to make sure you get the second half, because I know some of you want it and want to hear the rest of the story, rest of the information. So if you will do me a favor, send me a note. Send me a note. Say, hey, I really liked it. I love that, or I want more of that, because we want to do programming that meets your needs and encourages and inspires you. So let me know how you liked it, and make sure to share this with your friends, your family members. Share this link, send it out to everybody. Let people know that they can get through these tough times, and that with a positive attitude and an attitude of excellence and a mindset to turn setbacks into comebacks, that they will not only survive these challenging times, but can thrive in the midst of them. So this is Dr. Willie Jolly, and you have been watching a special edition of the Jolly Good News Report. Please do me a favor, join us again next Saturday morning, 10 a.m. for another edition, and join me Monday nights, 9 o'clock for the Happily Married Monday with the Jollies on my Willie.Jolly Facebook Live page. Join me every day on the Get Up Morning with Erica Campbell show on radio stations across America, 8:20 Eastern, 7:20 Central Time, with my Wake Up and Win with Dr. Willie Jolly message. And if you are not in an area, or you want to get me to send you a free FREE video of my 1-minute message every day, just go to winwithwillie.com, and sign up for the newsletter. Have a great day on purpose, and remember, your best is still yet to come. God bless you.